Hello. So in this lab, we will be creating a custom AWS VPC and configure a DHCP option set for that VPC. So first, we will look into what is DHCP, Dynamic Host Control Protocol. So DHCP give IP address on lease to the computer or devices connected in a network so that they can communicate with other devices over the internet. So if we look it by example, then we can take example of a phone booth. So in a phone booth there are multiple phone present and multiple phone present with different numbers, and each person can come to the phone booth and can communicate with other person using that numbers, but there are only specific set of phones, means there are 6 or 7 phones present and 7 numbers are present through which you can call to the outside network and communicate with them. So same is the role of the phone booth is played here by the DHCP server. So DHCP give IP address on lease to the devices connected in a network so that they can communicate with the outside network. So it will assign IP address to say this computer, and when it will complete its communication with the outside network and close that, then this IP address will be returned back to the DHCP server. So it will first request an IP address from the DHCP server whenever it's connected to the network, and DHCP server will return a IP address, and when the session gets over, the IP address will be returned to the DHCP server. So it will only give IP address on lease. So whenever another computer will connect to this network, the same IP can be assigned to the other computers also. So it is not a permanent case that this computer will always get the same IP address. So it has DHCP server has many IP available with it. So whenever a new device get connected to the network, it will give a new IP address on this. We can also check that DHCP server give IP address to us also. So it is provided by the network service provider whose plan we have taken. So if we can also check that by running a command IP config on our computer and see that it will be usually given on 1 day basis, means every day our DHCP server will assign something new IP to us. So if we type IP config, we can see that there are many other things, and DHCP is enabled, and lease obtained 17 November and lease expired 19 November, means it will expire and give IP on the need basis. So same thing we can see here, that dynamic host control protocol is a network management protocol used on IP network where DHCP server dynamically assign IP address and other network configuration parameters, means not only IP address but assign other parameters also to each device in the network when they communicate, so that they can communicate with the outside world over the internet. So if any device is connected to the network, it will send a request that I need an IP address, and DHCP will provide an IP address. So what now we have looked into what is DHCP protocol, that it will provide an IP address and other network configuration parameter to a device connected in a network. So in this lab, in AWS lab, here in AWS, through DHCP option set, we can specify network configuration, that is we can customize option set for our devices, that is we can only need a specific domain name for a VPC, that it will only go to this domain name, and other parameters that we can assign using the DHCP option set provided by the Amazon. That is, we can control DNS server, domain names, or network configuration, network time protocol server in a VPC. Means in an VPC network we can decide all these things by using DHCP option set. So what we will be doing in this lab, so let's take that overview. So we will create a custom DHCP option set. In DHCP option set, we will specify that this configuration will apply to our VPC. So we will be creating a custom VPC option set for our VPC, means all that thing in our virtual private cloud, we assign custom domain name to EC2 instances in our VPC. Means here we can take example, there is a VPC present this, and there are many EC2 instances present in this. Now we have to assign a custom domain name to all these instances. So through that we will assign that by using the DHCP option set for this VPC. We will create a DHCP option set for this VPC so that all the EC2 instances present in this VPC will have a custom domain name that we will provide. So for that we will first create a custom VPC and EC2 instance in that. Means we have created a this circle is a VPC and we have created a EC2 instance in that. Then we'll create a new DHCP option set, associate it with our VPC. Then we will create a DHCP option set outside and associate it with our VPC. Means this circle we will associate VPC, means all the entities present in this VPC, all the DHCP options will apply to all the entities present in this VPC. Then we check the host name of the EC2 machine. Then we check the host name of this EC2 machine and verify that the domain name mentioned here is the what we specified in the DHCP option set. So it will be configured here. And also verify when we create another EC2 instance, means when we create new EC2 instance in this VPC, that configuration will be applied to that EC2 instance also. So we can also see in the diagram. So for that, first we will be creating a VPC. This green one is showing there is VPC. So if we increase the size of brush, so this green one is showing that VPC, and inside the VPC we have created an EC2 instance and DNS server and route table and internet gateway so that it can communicate it with the outside world. Then we associate a DHCP option set. Here we can see that we can associate a DHCP option set, DHCP option set for this VPC, so that all the entities present in this VPC have domain name set what we have specified. So this we can see through an example that we specified domain name in DHCP option set. Then we add an EC2, another EC2 instance into this VPC, and that domain name is also specified in this EC2 instance. EC2 instance. So if we look into the lab example, so same is gone here. First we have created an VPC, then attach internet gateway to that VPC. Means this VPC and attach this internet gateway to this VPC. Then we created route table and route so that it can communicate with outside world. This route table we have added so that it can communicate with the outside world. And then we have created a subnet that we can see here. We have created a public subnet inside so that EC2 instance is present inside that. Then we have created a EC2 instance that we have specified in that public subnet, which is here. Then we created EC2 instance in this public subnet, and then we created a DHCP option set for this VPC. Then we create this DHCP option set so that we can see here that we create a DHCP option set and associate it with our VPC so that we can assign custom domain name on all the EC2 instance present in this VPC. So we have created that, and then we created another EC2 instance to verify that it is getting a custom domain name. So if we look into our option set, DHCP option set, so this is the by default domain name DHCP option set provided by the lab, which is giving an internal domain name EC2 internal, and this lab DHCP option set is created by us, which is having domain name mydomainexample.com. So if we go to our VPC, which I have created, your VPC, and if I click on edit VPC setting, and if I select the by default option domain name option and save that, and look into our EC2, this two EC2 instances created by us, first which is created earlier and then second one which we created after that. Then we can, if we refresh that and click on any EC2 instance, then we can see that here host domain name is pointed to the EC2 internal. As in the first case, if we go to the DHCP, by default DHCP option set, it has domain name set option EC2 internal. But if we want to specify the custom domain name created by us, which is pointing to the mydomainexample.com, then we have to go to our VPC and click on action, edit VPC setting, and here we have to select our DHCP option set, which is lab DHCP option set, and click on save. Now all the instances will point to the this DHCP option set. In my VPC, all the instances will point to the lab DHCP option set, which is pointing to the mydomainexample.com domain name. So if I refresh now and click on any of the EC2 instances, now we can see that host name is changed to the mydomainexample.com, as we have changed this EC2 instance is present in the MyLab VPC, and in MyLab VPC I have changed the domain name of DHCP option set to the custom DHCP option set that we have created, which is lab DHCP option set, and which is pointing to the domain name my domain example.com. And similarly, we have verified that EC2 instance also point to this domain name, which is my domain example.com. So that's all for this lab, and thank you.